The very first thing is to just start to eat protein first, is to really optimize and prioritize protein. So first of all, figure out how much protein you should be eating each day, which I'm sure is more than what you're eating, having now seen so many different diet recalls over the years. And basically, you want to think of zero point 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of target body weight. Then I have people eat that first at each meal because if they do, they actually ate it, which sounds really silly, but I hear too often, oh, I got too full, right? Now, the research also shows that when you eat protein first, you make better food choices overall. You'll also have that good blood sugar control, just like as if you ate vegetables. My rule is eat your protein first, then add your non-starchy vegetables. But you also get a thermic effect of food. Like metabolism is dictated by four things. Number one, your basal metabolic rate. That's really the biggest way you can change that is how much muscle mass you have on. Number two is how much you move. And that's divided into two things, non-exercise and exercise. And so that's one, that's two and three. And then number four is your thermic effect of food, of which fat doesn't really have a thermic effect. Carbohydrates is minimal. So the big needle mover there is protein. So protein's going to have a better metabolic effect. It's also more satiating. It's also more satisfying. And those are two different things. Satiating means you're not as hungry. We know it's one of the ways we can raise GLP-1, but satisfying means you don't have the cravings, probably because of the amino acids making the neurotransmitters. So that's the first one, is eat protein first. And if you are trying to lose weight overall, which means you're going to be in a little bit of caloric restriction, this can help you hold on to lean body mass, fat-free mass as you do so, which is mission critical.
So eating protein first, literally, what does that look like at breakfast, for example?
So at breakfast, that could be, and I always have to caveat these because in the Virgin Diet, I discovered that so many people had leaky gut and were reacting to dairy and eggs. Doesn't mean they can't ever eat them, means they need to heal their gut. So assuming that you're fine with those, it could be 2 eggs and 4 to 6 egg whites with some, like I love to make a scramble of those with a little bit of feta cheese and spinach and mushrooms. It could be a Greek style yogurt. Maybe I like to stir in, if I'm going to do that, some collagen as well, even though that's not a complete protein, but it could be some Greek style yogurt. It could be a protein shake. Let's say you're plant-based, a pea or pea rice combo, so that you're getting in, if you're plant-based, I say 40 grams. If you're doing animal, you can probably go more like 30 because you're really looking for the right essential amino acid levels. And for plant, it tends to be not as bioavailable and digestible. And so you're looking for at least 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine. So that's where that's coming from. Now, a hack here that I think needs to be out there a lot more, especially as we age, and the studies are pretty interesting on this, is that you can hack this by taking some essential amino acids alongside it. And I actually think that everyone over 50, this is a good thing to put into play because it's sort of like your essential amino acid insurance policy. So you have breakfast and you also have a serving of essential amino acids. That way you got what you needed. And as we age, we tend to be more anabolic resistant. So we have more challenges using those essential amino acids and being able to go through muscle protein synthesis. So this helps kind of push past that. So that's the other piece that I put in. Like this morning I had breakfast, I had a little hit of essential amino acids alongside it.
Yeah, and just so everybody's aware that you're talking, that's a supplement. It's a powder, and you add it to water and you drink it.
Yeah. Essential amino acids taste icky, so they always have a flavor to them. They're still not fabulous. It just is what it is, but they're easy enough to take in a little glass of water and take a hit.
They're not going to make up for not eating protein, but as you mentioned, They're an insurance policy.
Exactly. It's just like supplements don't make up for, eating a crappy diet.
So that was number one. Eat protein first. And just a little bit of a recap on that. How is that connected back to fat and burning fat? You get full. You don't eat a lot of the quote unquote bad stuff or the things that aren't as supportive or actually lead to excess fat in the body. You get the thermogenic effect of protein because protein takes a lot to process in the body. So it's burning calories itself in that. You're supporting your muscle mass. Your lean muscle mass is active in itself. It's metabolically active. It's going to be burning fat throughout the day, especially if you're resistance training and maintaining that lean muscle mass. Anything else I missed on that?
Those are the key ones. Those are super key. And I think we've got to really think about protecting lean mass, because this is ultimately where we're going to start to be able to burn our fat and boost our metabolism. And that leads me to number 2, is we've got to make sure that we're doing some type of resistance training. But for a couple different reasons. One of them is you would think of resistance training of, okay, more muscle, better metabolism. Yes. I mean, if you look at one of the challenges that happens as we lose weight, we lower our metabolic rate. We can offset some of that by having more muscle. But the other reason that muscle is so important is because it is the place where we can start to restore our insulin sensitivity. So what happens as we age? And I am convinced that a lot of what happens as we age isn't really because of aging. I think it's because of how we behave as we age. We're not as active as we used to be. We are tending to eat kind of more, what are the foods? Like you go out to dinner. I don't know. When I was in college, I wasn't going out to dinner and eating some of the things that I had access to in my 30s and 40s and 50s, right? So we're not exercising as much. We might be eating a little bit more indulgent foods. Maybe we're drinking a little bit more. We're stressed like we didn't used to be. We're not sleeping like we used to. Those things can cause insulin resistance. And if you're insulin resistant, it's very hard for you to use stored fat for fuel. You are being more likely to lay down belly fat. So one of the quickest ways to start to restore that is resistance training.